Um, okay, so hi, I'm Francine Witte, and I'm not a robot. I have to always prove that every time I go online anywhere. Are you a robot? No, I'm not. I'm Francine Witte, the real person. Welcome to the SoFloPoJo launch, the flash launch. And tonight we're combining the November issue, the November 25 with the February 26th issue, just because it's more fun that way. And so we have some great readers. And um, also at the helm is Michael Mackin O'Mara, who's our EIC, our editor in chief, and publisher, and just kind of running the whole Zoom. So thank you, Michael. Also, here is our lovely poetry editor, Judy Ireland. Hi, Judy. Nice to have you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I'd like to start with a little micro. This isn't one of my own, but I like to break the ice so that no one has to be the first one to go. Not everybody likes that. So this is called Snow by Abby Barker, and it was in the Cincinnati Review. By the time we left the store, it was already shin deep. My son and I lugged armfuls of groceries through the parking lot, enough to restock the pantry, enough to last a week. But the snow pelted us, stung our cheeks, left welts. My son trembled and dropped a bag of cold cuts. I didn't have the strength to pick it up. I sheltered his face with my scarf, and we stumbled to the car. Traffic limped. 4 miles took 4 hours. We snacked on pretzel crisps. My son peed his pants. I nearly drove off two bridges, road and sky a blinding white. I couldn't tell which direction we were and what direction we were headed. Maybe towards our house, maybe somewhere else. Right or left? I asked my son. He always said, right. We dug through the groceries. The bread had begun to mold. How long have we been inside this car? My son asked. I glanced at the rear view. He looked taller, his voice a note deeper. I really don't know, I said. We turned down a street faintly resembling ours, a shadow of what we once knew. I'm tired, my son said. We could only make out the shapes of roofs, the indistinct outline of cars. Just a little longer, I said. We came to a halt inside a canopy of white. We feasted on crumbs. Later, the snow melted, and a neighborhood emerged. Grass grew, birds sang. We left the car and wandered towards a house that reminded us of home, but nobody was around. We drifted through an unlocked door and found half familiar beds. Should we call Dad? My son asked. Yes, I said, just as soon as we rest. We closed our eyes and slept, our dreams as white and blank as snow. Abby Barker. Thought that was kind of appropriate given the forecast. Okay. Well, all right. So we have a great roster of readers tonight. And so let's begin with Hugh Behm-Steinberg. Hugh Behm-Steinberg's fiction can be found in X-Ray, The Pinch, Invisible City, Heavy Feather Review, and The Offing. His short story, Taylor Swift, won the Bartholomew from Gulf Coast, the Bartholomew Prize from Gulf Coast, and his story, Goodwill, was picked up as one of Wrigley's top 50 short fiction, very short fictions. A collection of prose poems and microfiction, Animal Children, was published by Nomadic Black Lawrence Press. He lives in Barcelona, where he is the fiction editor of Mercurius, HughBehm-Steinberg.com. And you can put that link in the chat because I know I screwed that up.
Oh, okay.
Hugh Behm-Steinberg.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Francine. Um, This story is called Why Occasionally It's Hard to just be friends with people who practice witchcraft. I'm having coffee with Ashley, the witch next door. Like a sore tooth I can't stop playing with, I want to ask her where witches do their shopping. Is there a witch store around here us non-witches can never know about, or we be trapped forever once we know what was what? I'd like to know that, even if I didn't really want to know. Spill it, Ashley says, because of course witches are extra good at reading people. It's part of the job description after all. Where do you get your supplies? I finally ask. For potions or spells or, I whisper, magic stuff. Mostly farmers markets or the grocery store, I guess, Ashley replies. Sometimes Costco when I need to buy things in bulk. Where? I've never seen a witch's section at Costco, unless they keep it way in the back behind the beef jerky and canned tomatoes. Why the fascination, Sally? Are you looking to try your hand at making potions? No, I say, though I often wondered what it might be like if I could just whip something up. I think it would be like possessing a delicious kind of secret, something you'd whisper into someone's ear when you have a button you'd like to finally unbutton. Come on over, I tell Jacob. I made something really delicious just for you. The thing non-witches don't understand is that any action can be a spell or any item an ingredient, Ashley says. It's just a matter of intention and experience. She grabs a sugar packet from the container on the side of the table and stirs it into her coffee, twirling the spoon 3 times and muttering something that makes me nervous, the start of a conversation maybe I don't want to hear. Each time she twirls the spoon around, the bracelets of her wrist clickety-clack. Drink this, she says, and she slides her coffee over to me. What did you just do? Sally, Ashley says. Do you really want to know for sure whether Jacob is cheating or not? I stare at the cup. It looks absolutely like a half-full cup of coffee, complete with lipstick stains on the side. Take a sip and find out. Ashley grins like she already knows what I'm going to do, nudging it closer and closer and closer, her bracelets going click and clack each time she touches the saucer. Like I'm going to grab the cup and drain it all in one gulp. Like I'm going to lick the inside of the cup and the saucer too. Just before I do exactly that, Ashley says, now put your thumb in your mouth. I feel my face flush. In the middle of this coffee shop, I'm surrounded by people who are a lot smarter than me, who are curious to see what I will ultimately choose to do about Jacob, this half full and way too sweet cup of coffee. Like they know, like they've always known. I begin sucking my thumb like I'm a 3-year-old. Now draw a circle with your thumb around the saucer. When Ashley sees I have trouble doing just that, she stares at me. Everyone stares at me. No clicks, no clacks. I'm staring at the coffee cup like it's a bag of the best candy in the world, except it belongs to somebody else, someone who might give me the whole thing if I don't take a single piece for myself. But I do what Ashley tells me to do, and the coffee cup goes back to being a coffee cup. The people in the coffee shop, just regular people. Ashley finishes the coffee. Her nails looked like they could use another coat of polish. Understanding what you need and what exactly you will choose to do about it. That's the first lesson, Sally. Ashley's bracelets slide down to her wrists as she finishes her coffee. Her nails are beautiful once more. The first lesson's free, she says, setting the empty cup in front of me. How much is the second, I ask. The bracelets slide up her arm as she hands me the saucer to lick clean. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh. Hugh Behm-Steinberg, all the way from Barcelona.
Yay.
This is the beauty of Zoom. This is why I love Zoom so much. So thank you for reading for us tonight. And next we have James Keith Smith. James Keith Smith, his work has appeared in the or forthcoming in Split Lit Magazine, Moon City Review, Sierra Nevada Review, Pithead Chapel, and others. He grew up in Michigan and now lives in Tacoma, Washington. Find more of his work at jameskeithsmith.com. This was in the February issue, his piece. Okay, thank you. James Keith Smith, take it away.
Thanks, Francine. I have a friend who's in the waiting room, I guess. He's waiting to be let in.
Oh, okay. We'll give it a minute. We'll do a little
Yeah.
I'll do a little dance, you know.
This one is called Nearsighted, Farsighted, and it's the one that was in the issue in February. The optometrist's eyesight is failing. Driving at night, headlights blur, street signs go unread. The optometrist's wife sits beside him, her face an indistinguishable smudge. He reaches over for her cheek, misses. The optometrist wears a white coat, black slacks. He's highly regarded, 4.3 stars, if you can trust reviews. There are outliers, of course. Pompous, says one, impatient. Reciting Nietzsche by heart may not get you many dates, he tells one patient, but it might help you get you into Harvard. A little tuft of air in the eyeball. This one or that, he says, flicking the lenses. A little bit better here or there? The first one, the patient says. No, the second. It's not a trick question, the optometrist says. Sometimes the optometrist wonders if his wife is the one writing the reviews. Inattentive, disorganized. His frame selection is poor and out of style, says one. If only I could see clearly, he thinks, then I might know. What if the optometrist's wife no longer loves him? A prescription changes, he thinks. At home, the optometrist's dog is always chewing. The rug, sofa leg, shoes. He's discovered a hole in the fence. The dog runs away, comes back covered in mud. The dog comes in, the dog goes out. The dog can never make up its mind. In or out? A or B? He asks the patient. So B is better than A? The dog eats one bowl of food each morning, one at night. He always sleeps in the crate beside the red sofa. The children's grades slip, athletic seasons end. During summer, they seem to be around all the time, losing their remote, arguing. And his wife, one week she insists on Italian, the next Indian. Manicotti one day, curry the next. She talks and talks to her sister on the phone, never stopping to breathe. And the moment she hangs up, hardly a word. Double vision, a new sensitivity to light. The optometrist is referred to an ophthalmologist who only sees patients at 3 p.m. on the first Tuesday of the months ending in R. A new review insists the optometrist has let himself go. Nevertheless, the review is for 3.5 stars. But most of the reviews are getting worse. Disheveled, distracted. When you talk to him, he has a blank stare. You have an astigmatism, he tells one patient. Yes, I know, the patient says. You know everything, I suppose, the optometrist says. He no longer associates with the Elks Club. He's been kicked off the board of a prominent private school for missing 3 meetings. I heard him weeping in a back room, one reviewer claims. The optometrist awakes at night, the comforter on the ground, the dog out of its crate, pawing at the mattress. He pats for his wife in the dark.
Hmm.
I got another short one. That one was weird. Reading it out loud, I realized how weird it was. This is called Sweet Pea. Let's bury him here. Let's bury him there in the mulch, I say, where the ground is soft. In my roses, my wife asks. The root of a maple in our yard burrows and twists beneath the foundation of our home, raises the concrete on the sidewalk out front. My shoulder aches. I press the heel of my hiking boot onto the step of the shovel, shift my weight, and the earth crumbles. Whatever I'm going to say, I'm sorry, whatever I say is going to be wrong, misinterpreted. Yesterday we fought over lentil soup, and now this, our burying the cat fight. Of course, nothing is about lentils or sweet pea. My wife places flowers in the box, rose petals, dandelions, Queen Anne's lace. She plays a Morrissey mix, sweet pea's favorite, she insists. All of this feels over the top for a no-frills stray I found trapped in my cellar long before we ever met. And I can't help but to shake the sense that she loves Sweet Pea more in death than she loved him in life. She's been waiting for this. Whenever I'm ready to leave her, there's always some grand gesture, like this, Sweet Pea's funeral. And though I feel a strain in my neck, the sun beating down on my back, I manage to dig the hole and cover poor Sweet Pea with dirt. And my wife stands behind me now, watering the roses.
Mm, very nice. Thank you, James.
Thank
And
you.
I've been to those doctors where the appointment can only be made in the months with R. I
Yeah,
totally get that.
it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I think we've all been there, kind of how it is. But anyway, thank you for being here with us tonight, James Keith Smith. And please put any links you want in the chat. Okay. Next, Gary Fink. Gary Fink's latest flash collection is The History of the Baker's Dozen from Pelicanesis in 2024. He is co-editor of the annual anthology Best Microfiction. Gary Fink.
Thanks, Francine. I figured people would have read the story in, in November, so I decided to read something else, and there's no going back. But when we did the Flash Boulevard one a couple weeks ago, I read what was going to be the first story in the next collection, which is called In the Dark and Light. And it was real short. It was a micro. This one's a full-blown flash. And it's the second story in that particular collection, which is scheduled to come out in August. So, Queen for a Day. I don't know. People remember, people old enough to know Queen for a Day? Then I'm safe, I think. The first time my sister Sarah and I saw Jerry Betters, he was slapping a six-pack of beer onto our kitchen table just as we came out of the bedroom we shared. Jerry is helping to build a new bypass, Mom said, as she opened a bottle and poured beer into a glass for him. She sent me to the cupboard for salted peanuts and my sister to the refrigerator for 2 root beers she'd hidden for us as a surprise if we sat still long enough to get acquainted with Jerry Betters. He drank his beer fast, smiling. When Mom poured him a second, she filled one for herself and told Sarah to put the rest in the refrigerator. Her voice turned different, like she'd been picked to win a cash prize or a set of major appliances. Somebody so grateful that she would cry while she smiled like the women on Queen for a Day that she told us about from when she was a little girl. Mama never left us alone at night, but as soon as Jerry Betters finished his second beer, he said, "I'll see you outside, and nice meeting you two." Mom poured half her beer into the kitchen sink and told us to watch 2 TV shows and then go to bed. "Just this once," she said, hugging us. As soon as Mom closed the door, Sarah started to cry. When I looked outside, I saw Jerry Betters smoking. I watched until Mom walked up beside him. He put his arm around her as she glanced up. I waved, but Jerry Betters had her free arm pinned. Sarah put on our father's old glasses to watch TV. "Everything will look dumb," I said. "You won't know what's going on." She turned up the volume as if that would help her see better, holding the glasses on with her other hand. Her eyes looked smaller, like they'd sunk into her head. Mom had warned her that she'd make herself nearsighted if she left them on for longer than a commercial. But she watched 8 minutes of Happy Days before she took them off. After Laverne and Shirley, Sarah put the glasses back on and turned the TV off. The room went so dark I thought of a show we'd watched where a boy is stuck in a cave and lights a short candle. He only has one, and he tries to memorize the walls before it goes out. In the dark, I couldn't remember the way things in our living room looked, especially where the switch for the lamps was. I walked with my arms stretched out like in blind man's bluff and hit Sarah in the face, knocking the glasses off and stepping on them. She screamed, and I stood in one spot as if a hole had opened in the floor. You're so stupid, Sarah said, but I was starting to see things, like it was getting lighter outside, like it was almost morning. I found the bedroom door in my bed and got under the covers as if I'd never done anything as awful as breaking the glasses our father had left behind when he died 6 months before. I imagined Sarah nearsighted because she'd ruined her eyes wearing our father's glasses for television. I didn't know how much they would cost, maybe as much as a refrigerator or washing machine or furniture that our mother told us the women on Queen for a day won by telling the saddest story. The one about our father dying young would be even sadder if Mom said that her daughter needed new glasses. And then I thought about how I could have poked Sarah's eyes out if she wasn't wearing those glasses, making our mother a sure winner, somebody with all her troubles, plus a blind daughter. It wasn't long before I heard the key in the lock. I knew Sarah was awake because I saw her roll over so she could watch the living room. Mom took off her shoes before she closed the door. She tiptoed in her stockings. She's listening, I thought. She's trying to tell if we're asleep. I didn't breathe as she walked toward us, the soft hiss of her stockings passing Sarah's bed and stopping between us. She made a sound like the boy in the cave had done when his candle burned out. Finally, her stockings hissed again, and I heard her take the cushions off the couch and pull out the hideaway bed. In the morning at 7 o'clock, she was under the blanket in her pajamas. Your father wouldn't have missed having those glasses, she said at breakfast. He had 3 pair, all with the same frames. Isn't that the strangest thing? He said you never can tell. And he was right about that, wasn't he? Sarah pushed at the glasses because the adhesive Mom had wrapped around the frame was working loose. Jerry Betters didn't come back. A week later, Mom asked what we'd watched while she was gone, and we sat with her to watch both shows. When Laverne and Shirley was over, she said, "It looks like he flew the coop." And nobody said his name again, except once, when we walked the block to where the bypass was nearly finished being built. Sarah squinted as if she already needed glasses and said, "It's so wide. It's like a new neighbor." Our mother stared for a while before she said, "They didn't need Jerry Betters to get this finished, did they?" in her smile and cry voice. Thanks.
Thank you, Gary. I was actually looking forward to hearing your story because I wanted you to, the title was Pricks. So I thought that would have been kind of fun.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Yes, but thank you for sharing that with us. Gary Fink, thank you for being here tonight. Next, we're going to hear from Marie Gethins. Marie Gethins lives in Cork, Ireland. Her work has been selected by BIFFY 50. I think that's the British like Flash Fiction, Institute of Flash Fiction 50, Best Microfictions and Best Small Fictions. She's a Flash Fiction editor for Banshee and co-editor of Splunk. And Marie's piece was in the November issue. Marie Gethins.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to read the first piece will be the one that was in the issue, and then I have another short one that was in the Bath Flash Fiction Anthology, Volume 4. So this is when two orbiting bodies become tidally locked and have no momentum exchange with the outside universe, they may spin together forever. He ordered fries, just fries. No ketchup or ranch, fries, double order. I underlined double on my pad for the cook, then suggested the fella get a salad alongside. kind of like I might negotiate with my kids. He said, "You're not my mother or my wife." No wedding band on that finger, no surprise. 45, maybe 50, and eating like some pimply teen. Snakeskin boots and a rabbit fur jacket, gold pinky ring with a square cut diamond, blue plaid shirt tucked into jeans with a turquoise and silver belt buckle the size of my hand. Anything to drink? Tap water, a pitcher full. Lemon? Ice? He side-eyed me. Even my ex got better manners. I brought his order, lit his candle with my red Bic, and he said, "What time does your shift end, hun?" Doing my best Dolly Parton, I sang the first verse of 9 to 5, even though it was already 8. Wouldn't you know, some smart ass put it on the jukebox. Those opening piano chords thumped off the cafe walls, sent him skedaddling right along that booth bench. He stretched to his 6 foot plus, heels tapping tiles, swung me around like we were at the county fair. Chassé, do-si-do, posette. He smiled, teeth as white as sea salt. I giggled like I was 16. Someone shouted there's been a crash in the parking lot. 2 semis had plowed right smack into each other. Said the trucker boys popped out of their cabs, fist a flying. Fight. Whole place raced past us to the front windows, crowding in to watch the show. Me and Mr. Boots, we chewed up that extra floor space. Twirling, 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 twirling. The next one is Poetic Justice. You've seen the clip. Tall Dan, our resident village poet, shouting his ode on a winter big wind. There was a time when butcher, baker, balloon maker, to all villagers a very common sight, and unto me the word taker, endless inspiration, full of celestial light. Blah, blah, flapping shutters and a squeaky pub sign. He even threw in a line with cyclone to rhyme with moan. Not a bad sort, Tall Dan, but you wouldn't call him Wordsworth. Some say the village had it in for him. What with the way he went on, walking the pavement, shouting everyone's business in couplets or quatrains, who collected warm Danish pastries before opening, who received midnight steak or rump roast deliveries, who met for sly hookups under a full moon, threesomes in the balloon box storage area. Not that we didn't all know, but putting it into stanza and verse, performing his pacing poetry up and down the place, well, it strained general conversation. Things settled down over the spring and summer, then boom, storm Bara. As the official epicenter, every national news crew descended upon us. There was Tall Dan going full tilt with ode on a winter big wind, standing in the deluge, dodging flying branches and bins. Cameras captured his performance, streamed live across the globe. A terrible tragedy, completely unforeseen. The balloon box's silver emblem that never budged before, not a millimeter. I'll grant you it made great footage. That massive ball rolling down the middle of High Street, taking out Tall Dan like a bowling pin, and just as he reached his final line. There's talk of a memorial plaque, a small one, just room for name and date. Thank you.
Wonderful, Marie. And I loved hearing you read the first piece because I didn't hear that accent, so it was really fun to hear that. Thank you. Great work and great reading. Marie Gethins, thank you for reading for us tonight. Okay. Next, Chelsea Stickle. Chelsea Stickle is the author of the flash fiction chapbooks Everything's Changing from 30 West Publishing 2023 and Breaking Points, Black Lawrence Press 2021. Her stories appear in Passages North, Fractured Lit, Identity Theory, McSweeney's, Internet Tendency, and others. Her micros have been selected for Best Microfiction 2021 and 25, the Wigleaf Top 50 in 2022, and the Wigleaf Long List in 2023. She lives in Annapolis, Maryland, and with her Black Rabbit George and a Forest of Houseplants. Learn more at chelseastickle.com, and her piece was in the February issue. Chelsea Stickle.
Thank you for that introduction, Francine. I'm so happy to be here tonight. Everyone who's read so far has been amazing. So my story was in the February issue, and it also comes with a trigger warning. It's about a mass shooting, so take care of yourselves. It's called We All Know What's Happening Here. The courthouse flag is flying half-mast, and neither of us knows why. There are so many mass shootings now that we can't count the dead, that we try. Our democracy is dead for sure, I say. Gary answers, courthouses don't care about that. We might have chuckled before, but the old jokes have hardened in our chests and weigh us down more every day. Stones on tombstones where political humor used to reside. By the courthouse, we see the bank building was converted into a pop-up shop from an artist collective. They open the vault at the short end of the L, and my inner kid can't wait, so we beeline to what feels like a movie set. We climb up a step stool to cross the scalloped threshold, and it's just a room with an interesting history. I thought it would feel magical, like an adult treehouse, and it doesn't. Like so many fucking things, the idea of it is better than the reality. But I'm not about to leave at the first disappointment. I'm admiring a shop local tote when we hear the first shots. There's so much whimsy in this place that I can't be sure some rabbit-shaped balloon animals haven't popped somewhere. That is, until the screaming starts. We glance at each other, but don't need to. We all know what's happening here. The gay couple that had been examining the witty postcards closest to the entrance move first. They kick the stool, propping the round door open. A basket full of humorous gift greeting cards litters the floor. Gary helps two parents carrying small children clear the entrance. Wait, someone nearby screeches. A couple of teens hurtle inside and land in a pile, panting, clutching their shoulders before the gay couple and I lean our weight against the vault door until close. The parents pat down their children for bullet holes, and Gary checks the teens. When he sees they're bullet-free, he joins me against the door. We wonder if the shooter cased the joint first, if he knows we're back here, if there's more than one shooter, if he or they can find or force a way in, if the camera in the corner will give us away. One woman tries her cell, but the signal can't escape. We have to wait for help. We're spared most of the screams outside, but we know we just got lucky. Siloed in here is safer than out there, but the vault feels like a forever tomb we willingly climbed into. The idea of it and the reality of it are so goddamn bleak that I have to focus on my breathing to halt the panic attack creeping up on me. Gary eyes me. He knows this happens, but hasn't seen it before. I am encased in ice, toes and fingers stiff in my boots and gloves. Gary squeezes my hands. I wish we knew Morse code so we could safely, privately talk. He's the only man I've ever loved. I waited 35 years for a love like this. One that makes me giggle and regularly. He's genuinely kind. He doesn't deserve to die because I wanted life to feel more like a movie. I mouth, I love you, and he mouths it back. I pick up my phone to type in him an apology, a thank you, goodbye. My lock screen reads ice, icy, and my mother's phone number. In case of emergency, in case this happens. I wanted to be identifiable. I want to be identifiable. I hope I'm identifiable. Thank you.
Oh, that was chilling, Chelsea. You know, sobering in Chelsea, and you're reading beautiful. Thank you, Chelsea, for reading that. And thank you for being here with us tonight. Chelsea Stickle. Next, we're going to hear from Mikki Aronoff. Mikki Aronoff lives in New Mexico, where she writes tiny stories and advocates for animals. She has stories in Best Microfictions 2024 and 25, and Best Small Fictions 2024 and 25, and more at facebook.com/Mikki Aronoff. And her piece was in the February issue. Mikki Aronoff.
Thank you, Francine, and thank you, Michael, for organizing this absolutely wonderful reading. I'm going to read a piece that's a trilogy of dribbles, all related to bugs, and it's called Buggy. 1. She's a flit, a flirt, a savage vamp, teasing the steam of your breath as you swill her whip zip and wine. Pin her down, she scoots. Fingertip trace her orbit, she'll nip skin and drink. Raise a bump as big as the moon that waned that warm, wet night you met. 2. The devout waiter tries to pry the couple apart, but the prurient manager shoos them away. They're not praying, the server protests, staring aghast as insect instincts kick in. Right there on top of patio table number 9, male astride ravenous female, licentious head bending to her gluttony, working his legs to carry on mounting while he chews off her face and then cleans hers like a cat. 3. When I tell my sweetie I'm buggy for him, he gets all fly-eyed, countless compound lenses swiveling and sweeping like store-opening beacons as if scanning for dappled gray flanks, carriage wheels, a yoke. No, not that kind, I chirr, dissolving in the sugar of him. So, you want to get hitched? George asks, hand outstretched, beaming, the stubborn old fool. And that's a wrap for me. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I love the sugar of him. It's beautiful, Mikki. That was great reading. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here, Mikki Aronoff. All right. Lucinda Kempe. Lucinda Kempe's work is forthcoming in Salvage, China Meeville editor, the Somerset Review, SoFloPoJo, Unbroken Journal, Bull, Does It Have Pockets, Gooseberry Pie, New Flash Fiction Review, and Centaur, among other places. An excerpt of her memoir was shortlisted for the Fish Memoir Prize in April 2021. She lives on Long Island, where she exorcises with words. You can find her lucindakemp.substack.com. And feel free, by the way, to put your links to things in the chat. And her piece was in the November issue, Lucinda Kempe.
I have to edit that. I just edited that bio. It's too much. I just wanted to say one thing. Normally, I never say anything about stories that I'm going to read, but my father was a suicide, and he often finds his way into my stories. The last time I saw Elvis, he was nude and playing in Tara's mother's pool. He kept coming out and jackhammering back into the water. He was singing Blue Suede Shoes, and a pair had been parked near Tara's mother, who lay in a recliner sipping something green and yellow in a slim glass with a tiny rainbow-colored umbrella. Every time Elvis emerged from the water like a sea god, she shouted, "You're the king, baby!" He'd bow, then return to the diving board and cannonball back into the water, spraying Tara's mother with surf, whereon she'd laugh and shout. I began tabulating how many times Elvis dived and Tara's mother shouted. The more she shouted, the bigger Elvis's swagger. Looked like he was at a weird beauty pageant for nudists. They were like an engine revving, or guests at a Vegas hotel who'd won a lot of money. It was a circus with just 2 clowns and me. I'd never seen so much drama outside of my house. Funny thing is, they didn't notice me. Or maybe they did. Melodramatic types like my mother and grandmother loved an audience for their shrieking sessions, the audience being me. This was something I wasn't familiar with, something sweet, as if Elvis and Tara's mother were kids having a blast, misbehaving. It was obvious they loved each other, whereas at my house, love translated into hurt. It was fun until Tara's poodle got out and started chasing Elvis around the pool. Elvis hightailed it to the edge of the diving board. The poodle stood at the opposite end of the board, barking. Elvis edged out ever further and began crying, "I hate dogs. Make it go away." Tara's mother grabbed the dog by the collar and brought it inside. So there was just me and a nude Elvis in the suddenly less hectic yard. I thought about asking him what he thought about all the hoopla with his family, fighting over his estate, and losing Priscilla and their grandson's suicide. I also thought to tell him about my father's killing himself, but I stopped myself when he started to sing. Instead of his usual swoony voice, he began singing in a soprano. Then a radio joined in the background. Tara's mother reappeared in a kimono, and she had a bigger umbrella. She second-lined as Elvis sang, and I found myself singing in Elvis's voice, and I felt like his daughter, and Tara's mother was my mother, and this was better than Ed Sullivan, and so much better than being at home. When the song ended, I was alone. Alone except for Tara's big black poodle Elvis, standing before me wearing a goofy expression. I think he enjoyed my tale. And I felt better, having released all that sadness. I could never have told Tara. She was oblivious, like her mother, which is why I liked them. I preferred dogs to people any day.
Thank you, Lucinda. Great hearing you read that story. And great story. Lucinda Kempe, thank you for being here with us tonight. Our next reader is Marie Capasso. Marie Capasso is a fiction writer and staff member at Matchbook Literary Magazine. She lives, reads, and writes in the Bronx. You can find her walking great distances in lieu of the subway and will unapologetically listen to the same song on repeat. I love that. She will pet any cat she can. And her piece is from the February issue.
Thanks,
Marie
Francine.
Capasso.
Thanks for giving me the chance to read. My piece is called If I Could Say It. Hi there, it's me, just letting you know that we got here okay. Lauren did great on the flight, and the house we're in is really nice, very clean. Footnote 1. The first time I took a plane by myself, I closed my eyes during takeoff and wished I had a hand to hold. This time, I turned my palm up in the space between our seats without speaking, and Lauren took it. I held her hand until I was sure she had fallen asleep, curled into herself. We stopped at a Costco on the drive out and got 2 rotisserie chickens and a bag of frozen peppers and onions and black beans and gluten-free tortillas. Footnote 2. We had a small argument about how much food is enough food while standing in front of rotating chickens in St. George, Utah. I know she's not eating enough, and I wish I could pick up a fork and pretend it was a train, chugga chewing bites into her mouth. Wish she would chew it and enjoy the flavors on her tongue. Wish she would swallow and be satiated and whole. We did Bryce Canyon today and hiked the Queen's Garden Trail to the Navajo Loop. Footnote 3. The trail started off going downhill, these beautiful orange rocks to my right and a canyon to my left with spindly pine trees growing up from the chasm. And when I slid just a little on some gravel, I was immediately in a panic. It was the same kind of fear as when I fell last year and was too scared to keep roller skating. Pure animal dread. I didn't think it was real when they say that the body remembers. Lauren started crying the second we got to the rim of the canyon. Footnote 4. About a half an hour into the hike, I cried too. We reached this passage of small rolling hills, the path rising and falling in gentle waves. We rounded bends and passed through red ochre archways and walked beside pillars of stone made narrow by water over thousands of years, which is really beautiful, but at an outcropping of rocks is this Utah juniper tree that you could tell was hundreds of years old just by looking at it. roots exposed and hardy, thick ridged bark, and a trunk that was growing horizontal, practically parallel to the ground, twisted around itself in the middle, and then pointed ever so slightly upward with needles that reached for the sky. I let myself stand there and cry, feeling the years it took to grow this way, each painful knot, joyful breeze, and bug that used grooves of bark like a highway. The rain, thank God for the rain, and everything roots can pull from clay. The moment she turned away, the moment she knew she could only move forward, ever so slightly forward against the passage of time. Okay, that's really it. I'm pretty tired, just letting you know I'm alive. Footnote 5, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. Thank you.
Wonderful, Marie. And if you don't mind, I want to tell the story of that story,
Of course.
if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
So I met Marie at a Kathy Fish Reason to Write workshop down in West Virginia. And one of our upcoming readers, Colleen, was there too. And you know, we did a prompt, and Marie read this story, and you could just hear everybody going, you know, because that idea of the footnotes of like what you're saying as opposed to the subtext, what you're not saying. I just loved it so much. And so I went over, I cornered her right after, and I said, send me that story.
And I'm very appreciative.
Yeah, I knew if you sent it out somewhere, it would get picked up. So I
Thank
wanted
you.
it. So thank you for sending it in, and thank you for reading for us
Of
tonight.
course. Thank you.
Marie Capasso. Hey, next, Jane Martin is not here, but I'm going to read her story because her bio is actually longer than her story. So I'm not going to read her bio because it's longer than her story, but you know, she's written Tender Cuts and the Daddy Chronicles, and she's just a wonderful person. That she's big fixture in the flash fiction world. But her piece was, and it was in the February issue, Modern Love. I love you, she said, and maybe it was true this time, or maybe she said it often enough, or maybe if she said it often enough, it would be true. The most important thing was that he believed her, and he said it back. Jane Martin. Hey, next, we're going to hear from someone else that was at Kathy Fish Workshop, who I had the pleasure of meeting. And once we started talking, we couldn't stop, you know. It's like we just realized we had certain things in common, and we just started talking and talking and talking. And I'm so delighted that she's here tonight. Colleen Carney Rich, is the author of Tell Your Therapist, Finishing Line Press, 2019, and Bunnyman Bridge, A3 Press, 2021. Her writing has been published in the literary journals Smoke Long Quarterly, Wigleaf, Matchbook, and Pinhead Chapel, among others. One of the founding editors of So to Speak, a feminist journal of language and art. She's an MFA from George Mason University in Virginia, where she also works. And this piece is from the February issue. That's what you're going to read. Colleen Rich, take it away.
Thanks, Francine. Yeah, that West Virginia workshop was awesome, and now it's time to decide if we're going to do it again. I already got an email. This piece from the February issue, I wrote in a Sarah Freely workshop that was totally devoted to writing about Hopper paintings. So I'm going to put the painting in the chat, and this is called, where is it? Sorry.
Summer Evening.
Summer Evening, 1947. The couple and the lighted porch are the stars of this summer night. The house is closed tight, curtains drawn, because it is late and folks have gone to bed, or perhaps to give the couple privacy. Or instead of privacy, there could be judgment inside. Disapproval of how she is dressed, with her fancy pink two-piece outfit showing so much of her untanned skin. Disappointment in her entertaining a gentleman on the porch at such a late hour. And let's face it, he's no gentleman. He looks like he wandered by on his way home from the downtown pool hall. Maybe he saw her on that brightly lit porch and was drawn to that searchlight in the darkness like a moth in these last few hours before a new day. She has dreams, you can tell. She sees herself somewhere beyond this little town, perhaps as an actress waiting to be discovered poolside in LA. Or this could be the end. Perhaps this boy is shipping out to boot camp in the morning, and this outfit is her gift. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful, Colleen. And hope to see you again in West Virginia. I already signed up, so.
Did you?
I did.
I'm really tempted. It was so relaxing.
Me
I
too.
loved it so.
I'll be back.
I loved it.
So
Yeah, great.
yeah.
I loved it so much. It's called A Reason to Write is the name of the organization, Ellen Weirin, and she'll be posting about it soon. And if you have a chance, check it out. I think, Colleen, I think I was actually in that workshop too, and so is Calliope. Calliope Palios is here. And I do have the Summer Evening 1947. I'm going to send it to you. Well, it was, she showed like 3 paintings, so that was a great
that was
workshop.
like a master class. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe the resources she pulled out.
Yeah, Sarah Freely is just a great workshop leader. Get a chance to study with her, and she came to West Virginia, in fact. So, yes. Well, thank you for being here with us and for reading your story, Colleen. Colleen Rich. Next is Tina Zhu. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, that's right.
Zhu. Okay. Who is obviously in San Francisco.
No, I'm actually not. I can imagine I'm in a warmer place at the moment.
Like I'm actually not in a bookstore, but that's okay. It's fine. Tina Zhu is an assistant, Tina S. Zhu, I'm sorry, is an assistant fiction editor at Split Lip magazine, who also co-edits Wormhole, the terminally online speculative fiction newsletter. Places her work has appeared include Lightspeed, the Cincinnati Review, Best Small Fictions, and The Crawling Moon, Queer Tales of Inescapable Dread. Neon Hemlock Press 2024, a finalist for the Shirley Jackson Award. Her work has received support from Lambda Literary and the Clarion Writers Workshop, and you can find her at tinasju.com. And her piece was in the February issue, if you're going to read it. Tina S. Zhu, take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'll be reading my piece from the issue. Aisle 9. The last time I saw Chrysanthemum's son in the flesh was in aisle 9, the frozen food aisle. She was buying frozen vegetables. We shivered together, summer shirts too thin for the power of big box department store air conditioning. She didn't say hi. When we were kids, Chrysanthemum was always first to say hi. She was the kind of person who you couldn't help but hate at first because she was so friendly. But then you realized the friendliness was genuine and hated her even more. Our moms compared us all the time. She, the athletic, pretty, straight-A girl destined for big things. Me, inadequate in every respect. At the store, she took a bag of carrots out of the freezer and 2 bags of green beans. I went for the Ore-Ida tater tots. Her daughter was with her, an apprentice Tiara. Chrysanthemum had become a Lululemon yoga mom who spent a fortune on Korean beauty products. I had recently become single and was working a dead-end job. I made sure to make eye contact with her and smile when I opened the freezer door again for frozen chicken nuggets. She turned to talk to her daughter, choosing to ignore me. A few months later, when the missing signs went up and everyone was talking about the local mother of 2 who had seemingly vanished in broad daylight, my mother called me. Chrysanthemum's mother made a scene at the Chinese church the other day, was sobbing so loudly everyone else turned away. See, I wanted to say, watching the missing sign with the corners ripped off on the telephone pole outside my apartment as the rain started up again. See, she's not better than me. At least I didn't disappear. After the rain let up, I went outside. Chrysanthemum's paper face was soaked through, the black ink of missing running down her tranquil expression like tar-stained tear tracks. I ripped up a phone number. I wanted to rip out her photo too, because she was too good to be seen in public without her 10-step skincare routine. I couldn't bring myself to leave a hole in the sheet. The world deserved to know Chrysanthemum's son. She stared into the street, the sad angel of aisle 9 protecting us from harm, until the letters were unreadable and her face only a rainbow smudge.
Beautiful, beautiful. That was a great last line there. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us tonight, Tina S. Zhu, sorry. Thank you for reading for us and for being with us tonight. And I believe our final reader, unless I missed anyone else, is Beth Sherman. Was there anybody here that was in either of the issues that I missed? Beth Sherman, close us out. Beth Sherman has had more than 150 stories published in literary journals, including Flash Frog, Fictive Dream, Bending Genres, and Smoke Long Quarterly. Her work is featured in Best Microfiction 2024 and the upcoming Best Small Fictions 2025. She's also a multiple pushcart and Best of the Net nominee. She can be reached on social media at bsherm36. The piece she submitted was in the November issue. Beth Sherman.
So this micro is called My Mother is the Everglades, and Francine submitted it to Best Microfiction 2026, and it made it into the anthology. So thank you again, Francine, and thank you, Gary. I was really, really happy about that. My Mother is the Everglades.
Thank you for representing SoFlo for us.
Yay.
Best Microfiction. Congratulations.
My Mother is the Everglades, where it's always tropical, and gators crawl out of the swamp unexpectedly, and off-road buggies drive too fast, kicking up wet clumps of mud. She's got tupelos, mangroves, bald cypress, sweet bay willows, but she mourns the trees she'll never see, prickly California cacti flowering in the dark. When she's feeling ornery, she switches the safely marked trail signs so the tourists get lost and stumble into a panther den. She dismantles tents, overturns picnic tables, unleashes her army of snakes that writhe like they think they have somewhere to go. She tries to protect white-tailed deer in the fall, turkeys in the spring, feral hogs all year round. A futile task. Hunters are everywhere. When I visit her, I go by kayak, paddling by pickerel weed, their spear-shaped leaves shielding frogs and finches from predators. She won't birdwatch. They alight on her branches, and it doesn't matter what species they are or whether she's encountered them before. They can fly, she can't. That's all she needs to know. In drought season, she prays for rain, for the memory of water's cool, wet breath, the scent of rotting foliage. When a foolish Boy Scout leaves an ember burning, she blows on it, hoping the sparks will die down. Her motto, leave no trace. Deep in her swamp, a ghost orchid grows, leafless, creamy white, delicate petals splayed, tangled roots clinging to a tree. She prizes its endangered bloom, hides the flower from poachers the way she hides herself from me. Thank you.
Well, I can see why it got chosen. So, lovely story, Beth. Thank you. Thank you for reading it for us. And so I think that's Sherman. And please feel free to take a minute to put any links. Anybody put any links in the chat to your publications, to your stories, to where we can reach you so we can stalk you relentlessly. Okay. You haven't made it until that happens, right? So well, let's hope not. But anyway, thank you all for being here for such a lovely reading tonight. I know some of the people had to leave early because, for example, I know that Hugh is in Barcelona. I think Marie Gethins is in Ireland. So it's, oh, he was here. Oh, Hugh,
Yep.
you are the man. You are the man. Okay. What time
I like
is
staying
it
up
there?
late. It's
Tell you what
2
it
in the
is.
morning.
Oh, wow.
You're a wild man, okay?
It's Friday.
Well, so I really appreciate that. Like
Oh,
that's just trooperism. So thank you. And James said he had to leave here to go pick up his son. And anyway, we had great reading tonight. I'm sorry, Maria's here too. Oh, wonderful. So you're came through. um, so Colleen Rich, Marie Gethins, Lucinda Kemp, Gary Fink, Beth Sherman, Marie Capasso, Chelsea Stickle, Mikki Aronoff, Hugh Behm-Steinberg, Tina Eshu, and I think I got everybody. Chelsea Stickle. Did I get everybody? Okay,
You
sorry.
did.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm like kind of losing it tonight. But anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for your wonderful readings, for submitting your wonderful work to SoFloPoJo, because if you don't submit, we don't have a journal. Okay, it's just that simple. Am I right, Judy, Michael? Right? We don't have a journal if people don't submit. So yeah. So keep on submitting, and it's great. It's lovely hearing everybody, and have a wonderful weekend, and take care and drive safely. Good night.
night,
And thank you
everyone.
to Michael. Thank you
Good
to
night.
Michael very much. Yeah.